Hello. Welcome to Feel at Home Anywhere in the World. Today we're going to talk about community and what does it mean to belong to a community. But first of all, I wanted to say how excited I am that so many people have joined. It's not even a month since I launched this group, and we are already above 80 members, which is really heartwarming and encouraging to see. So thank you very much for joining. And if we have not met before, let me introduce myself. I am Fra Panella, and I am a community gatherer. Sorry, words losing already. I am a group facilitator and a community gatherer and a belonging coach. And I work with women who have moved to a new city or a new country, and I support them to stop looking for belonging out there in a culture, in a relationship, in a project or something else, and turn attention back onto themselves and really embrace cultural differences and embrace all the different facets that make us who we are, so that we can live a life with joy and boldness and a sprinkle of kindness. So welcome to today's session, and if you are watching, then please give me a like or a heart so I can see your name. And if you're watching later, just put an hashtag replay so I know that you're here. Today we are looking at what does it mean to belong to a community. Now, such a big topic, and community is something that when I studied at university, I did a master in philosophy, and community seems to be something that historians, philosophers, anthropologists, everyone had their own definition, everyone had their own spin on what was a community, how it works, and what does it mean to belong. And yet, those definitions, from my point of view, belong to the books and the dictionary. What I'm more interested in is how do we get there, and what is it that you want? What is it that you are searching for in a community? Because, you know, when we move to a new place, one of the first things that give us a sense of feeling rooted is finding the people that we connect with, that we gel with, you know, like. But and this is because humans being are very social creatures, and connecting to others is one of our most innate and basic needs. When we see ourselves reflected in others, when we see ourselves valued and recognized for who we are, we can feel appreciated, and we can feel valued. But for me, you know, cultural integration is not just about finding someone that will accept us in their community. It's not just about reaching out and finding a circle of anyone. It's not that anyone would do. Cultural integration is measured against this idea that, you know, we find once that we are integrated socially, then we are many steps ahead in the journey, right? But actually, I believe that it's not just about finding someone that will welcome us in this space. It's about finding a community of people that will, yes, accept us, but mainly value us and support us to grow, support us to become who we want to be. And so it's really important that we take a little bit of time to sit down with ourselves and really be clear about who is it that we want to connect with, who is it that we want to invite in our new life, in our new place, in a new city or a new country, wherever. It's not just about us being welcomed, it is also about who do we want to invite in our lives. There is the first, so what I'm going to show you today is 3 main steps to find a community that can value you and also support you to grow. The first one is to be really clear about your needs and your passions. So first of all, what is your need for connection? What is your need for connection with others? So for some people, community can come from people that share the same faith, or it can be about sharing the same values or the same interest. So it's very important to be clear what that might be. So for instance, just to give you an example, I created lots of community in my life, and just to give you an example, when I went on maternity leave, I decided to set up a little baby group with other mums, because my need was that one of connecting with others and being able to do some movement. I didn't want to be just at home on my own. I wanted to move with others. And so it was really, that was the first need that I was trying to address. So step number 1 is being really clear about, you know, what is your need for community? What kind of community do you want? What kind of connections are you looking for? You're looking for people to go and do stuff with, or are you looking for people to share some values with, or you're looking for people to share passions with? So that is the first stage. And the second one is to create a vision as specific as possible, to create a vision of what kind of people and what kind of community you'd like to have, from your needs to your vision. And then you think in terms of invitation. An invitation, it can be 2-way round. It can either be that you invite people into your space, or you are actively looking for invitations out there. Every time that someone puts up an event, that is an invitation. Every time that someone makes a half offer, that is an invitation. Every time that someone mentions something that they're doing and that they need help with, that is an invitation. The invitations don't always come under the form of, would you like to come with me to the cinema? Invitation comes in loads of different shapes and forms, and it's up to us to recognize them and to act on them. But for us to be sure which invitation we want to respond to, we first need to know, step number 1, what kind of needs that we're trying to meet, what kind of people we're trying to really connect with. Yeah? Once that we know the first one, then we can move on to creating a beautiful vision, and most importantly, we can enter a dynamic relationship of either inviting them or responding to their invitations. And the last step that I'd like to really bring into your consciousness is time. Our belonging to community doesn't have to be forever. Some communities are forever, but other communities might not be. And it's important when we create the vision to have a sense of how long we would like to be in that group of people. Because once that we have an idea, so for example, once that we have an idea of how long we want to be with others, then we can review it and we can choose to either let go or renew the commitment to that community. And if we have a sense of time, we also know how much commitment we're going to give to that community and how much we can offer and receive in exchange. It's really important that we consider community as a space for us to practice reciprocity. So, yeah, just to practice reciprocity. Oh gosh, this word, and be really clear that there are communities that are gonna ask you to participate following certain norms or commitment, asking you to do things in order to be part of that communities, either kind of volunteering or doing some task. And you need to be prepared to kind of adhere to some of that and be prepared to offer. But what is most important from my point of view is also be aware that you don't want to compromise your own growth. You don't want to compromise who you are in order to be part of a community. Sometimes we trade that sense of belonging to a group of people for our sense of truly be ourselves. And when these two things are not aligned anymore and they go into conflict and friction, it's really important that we take a step back. And that is why having a sense of time, of how long we want to be somewhere in a community, it can help us choose whether we want to let go or renew our commitment to that community. So just to recap what I was saying, I wonder if I've drunk too much coffee today and wonder if I'm talking too fast. I'm just taking a breath. And yeah, what I think is most interesting when we come to reflect on what does it mean to belong to a community is not so much the definitions that we have had from academia, but it's about what is it that we want. What kind of community do we want to connect with? And what kind of people do we want to invite in our lives? Because it's not just about us joining, it's also about them coming into our lives. And so to do that is really important. Step number one, we are clear. Step number one, we are clear on what needs or what values we're trying to meet. And we create a vision around that. And the more specific that we can be, the better. And then we have a sense of time, of how long we want to commit to that community, for a minimum of to a maximum of. And then we can renew our commitment. But it's also important to remember that we don't have just to belong to just one community. We can be part of multiple communities, multiple groups, and they can be in person, they can be online, there is loads of different ways in which we can connect with others, and so it's really important that we maintain an element of creativity in our mind when we think about communities. And the last thing I want to repeat is to be really aware and conscious around invitation. We invite people in our lives, and we can actively invite them, and we can actively respond to the invitations that are already out there. Events, requests for help, ideas thrown out there, they're all invitations for connection. So it's up to us whether we want to respond to them. Sometimes when we relocate to a different place, we struggle to see them as invitation, but they actually are invitations. And with these steps, today is everything. Please let me know in the comment below if you found it interesting and helpful. And I have seen quite a few of you coming and going during the live, which has been really lovely. But if you're watching the replay, please type in replay, and yeah, let me know if there was anything in what I shared today that jump out at you. And yeah, it's everything for today, and I will come back next week, Tuesday around lunchtime again. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye.